Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone. We're here for episode 293 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. Recorded, of course, in sunny western, northeast, South Dakota. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
Tommy, we've got a lot of good stuff today.
I got a lot of good stuff.
Number one on the list is Fusion Sports Performance Supplements.
Wow. I guess we're starting with the best stuff right away, huh?
Let's get into what the people came for, the paid advertisements. Do you know what's in your supplements?
Mm-hmm.
If you use Fusion Sports Performance, you always will. Fusion SP prides itself on being fully transparent, never using proprietary blends, and always providing its customers with top quality products. They offer 2 pre-workout options, not 1, but 2. Super Soldier pre-workout and Mad Titan High Stim pre-workout. Both have proven ingredients at their clinical doses to maximize performance, increase muscular endurance, and improve focus, and get you that much sought-after pump. They also have Healing Factor post-workout, which combines BCAAs with a full serving of creatine monohydrate and other great ingredients to help maximize your efforts in the gym. Then we get to the whey protein, kind of the nuts and bolts of the Fusion
the
SP
foundation
sandwich.
of this castle.
Yes, we got their whey protein isolate. Tastes great, of course. 27 grams of protein, 0 fat, and low or no carbs. Then the flavors. My favorite part about Fusion SP is the flavors. Mm-hmm. You've got your vanilla ice cream. Who doesn't like that? Frosted cinnamon roll, probably most importantly, chocolate of some sort. Most orders are shipped within 1 business day, and every Fusion Sports Performance product comes fully backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to fusionsp.net and use code MASS. Their code MASS, M-A-S-S, to save a massive 20% on your order. Use code MASS. That's a real one. Use code MASS at fusionsp.net. It'll save you 20% off of that order.
Amazing.
And every order.
Tanner, I see we've both decided it is moccasin season.
Yep.
They're out for the year.
It's getting blustery. Actually, is it supposed to snow tomorrow or Friday or something? Both maybe.
It's either tomorrow or Friday. Yeah, I think it starts tomorrow and goes into Friday.
Yeah, it could be a little blizzardy conditions. It sounds like it's going to be pretty windy.
Yeah.
What's the weather report right now? What's it say? 41 degrees.
Yep. Feels like 41.
See, it doesn't feel that cold to me yet.
No, it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a rainy, shitty day today.
We've held off pretty long this year.
We've done great so far this year.
So we're probably going to be punished severely for that.
That's usually how it goes. Yeah, you don't win in this game ever.
No.
Tanner, I discovered something tonight, and I was a little upset about it. So we all know about the greatest snub in podcasting publication history.
You're talking none other than Aberdeen Magazine.
Yeah, of course, how they snubbed us.
Yeah.
Probably about a year ago at this time.
To be on record, we're not over that.
We were snubbed in the worst way possible. Right. So you don't get over something like that. But there's also another publication local to our region, and that is the South Dakota Magazine.
Okay, yes. Yep.
And they had I saw the issue tonight. I was browsing through it. They had a holiday gift guide. Massenomics was not in there.
Was the drink spotter involved?
It was not. I was very upset. The James Valley Company was in there.
Really?
But
I didn't even
Massenomics was not.
Okay.
And I took offense to that.
Was it Big John's Old West barbecue sauce?
And the Doggy Pops, too.
Okay,
they had both of them listed in there.
Yeah. Represent.
So
I don't even know if my mom knew about that yet.
I don't know if that was
is it a new edition? Is it just out recently?
I think it's November, December, I think it said. So it probably... I think maybe it was October, November. For sure there was November. They do it bi-monthly, so I don't know what 2 months I got there. It was probably November, December if it was talking holiday gifts. But
I was thinking we need to come out with an article of like top 5 gym gifts under $100. And you know what number 1 on the list is going to be? The drink spotter, or lift shorts. Look,
all 5 of them would just be our gifts.
Maybe that's the play. I'm thinking maybe bookend is drink spotter, and it ends with lift shorts, and then in between we throw 3 other people a bone. You know, we say 1 1/4 pound change plates from the Strength Co.
Well, we did write an article like 2 or 3 years ago about best gifts for powerlifters.
We did,
and that's still this time of year always.
I think with the lift shirt is in that even too.
I believe it is, yes. And then I think we had chalk and just some other generic things. But
touche. Lift shorts aren't under $100 when they're not on sale. That's a fair point. They are $100. So it's best gifts $100 or less.
Yeah.
Maybe stay tuned on that.
Yeah, we'll keep chipping away at that.
It wouldn't take very long since most of the products would be our own.
Oh,
we
have
have
a very intimate knowledge of the product. Yeah, the product we're selling here.
The list will be our products and some of our sponsors' products. So pretty easily to do.
It's the best article.
Yeah.
It practically writes itself. But yeah, I was upset that Massenomics was not mentioned.
Yeah.
I don't know if those people had to pay to be there or not. I would like to think that maybe they didn't, but also that would mean that we were actually snubbed then if that was the case.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's as big of a snub as the South Dakota, bigger place than Aberdeen.
There was also in that that issue that talks about all things South Dakota, 3 different articles related to Aberdeen. And
Really?
again, we were in none of them, Tanner. The snubs keep coming in.
I would say if South Dakota Magazine did an article, like a somewhat comprehensive-ish article, like what Aberdeen Magazine did on podcast, if South Dakota Magazine did it on podcast in South Dakota, I feel like we should like be possibly mentioned in there. How many podcasts based out of South Dakota do you think like in the top 10 list, like for downloads, where do you think we rank of South Dakota based podcasts?
We'd be in the top 10.
I mean, obviously I can't think of one that would be ahead of us, but I'm not going to be privy to like the other ones as
I
they
know.
probably wouldn't us, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if you can, is there a way to track that at all? I mean, I know you don't.
I think the services that track it are just purely guessing.
Right,
Like there's no
right.
way because they don't have contacts with your server. To see.
Right.
There's just, it's like saying, oh, how many people visited someone's website last month? Like, yeah, there's things that'll give you a guess,
Right.
but they don't have the analytics on your
Right,
server. So there's
right,
no way
yeah.
for them to actually know.
Yeah.
That's my only guess.
Yeah.
How many people visited my Facebook profile last month? No one knows that besides you or Instagram if you have business analytics turned on. You know?
Yeah. Are we out of the screen there or are they,
Oh, maybe I'm.
doesn't show it. It doesn't look like it is on according to that.
I don't know what's going on. Oh, I think it's a bad picture.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, there's my holiday update for us there.
Oh, that's good. I saw an interesting topic that I thought would be fun to discuss. I think Big Grant of the Strength Co brought this up.
I'm listening.
Which is correct or not correct? Which do you like better? Which do you prefer? LOL or haha? I think it's a valid question.
It is. My natural one is always haha. That's what I do on everything. I have noticed you do LOL a lot, don't you?
I used to be a straight up haha guy, and now I switched to both. When I was a straight up haha guy, I thought LOL. I'm like, that's such a little girl thing to type.
For a while, it sounded like an old thing. Like no one does that anymore.
Yeah,
But I feel like I see more of it now, though.
well, to me, what I think's happened is
Everyone does ha 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 now.
everyone does haha, but I think LOL doesn't. People don't take LOL doesn't mean LOL,
Right, it has
and
a different
everyone
meaning.
knows that it
Yeah,
doesn't
it has
mean
a different
LOL,
meaning,
right?
yeah.
Because like if I want to tell someone like that's so funny it made me laugh out loud, you can't say LOL. You have to say that actually made that. You have to say that actually made me laugh out
Dude,
loud.
I actually laughed at this. Like
Right.
that's what you say, yeah.
right?
It's
Because if
something
you
other
say
things.
LOL, everyone knows that means like I guess they think
I
it's
am
funny.
for real laughing
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. You have to be specific to say like I'm actually laughing out loud at that. So LOL doesn't mean LOL. That's an important. I think
Distinction
everyone
there, it
knows
is.
that though, right?
I think
yeah.
so. I think people get it. That they're just acknowledging that yes, what you said was funny. Here is
Yeah.
your LOL.
Yeah,
Here you
yeah.
go.
I mix it up for the sake of not doing the same thing over and over again, like to provide within one conversation I can, so that way they're not like, God, that guy says haha a lot. So
I
that
definitely we could probably look through our text conversations. I probably use ha 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 way too much.
Also, it's the number of ha's too. Like you can do different.
No, if
number
it's
of
really
ha's.
funny, you do more in there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just haha on it. But
Yeah.
my way of mixing it up is just going to an emoji to break that up.
Is it the crying, laughing one,
or the one where it's turns like it's turned at like a 45 degree angle, crying, laughing?
Yeah, yeah. Why are those two of those?
One's a little more extreme than the other.
So the cock to the side is laughing harder.
That's how I would take
I
that.
never really knew that, but
When you're laughing so hard, your head's literally turning off of its
I've
body.
noticed Dan Bell always uses the cock to the side laughing, crying guy.
And then it's, do you use one or do you use two or three of them? That's the next question there.
Yeah, there's nuance to all of that, isn't there?
And I usually don't care enough to I should probably care about that more than what I do, but I just catch myself using haha too much. So yeah, my fallback is to resort to an emoji.
Yes.
But yeah, you do use the LOL, Tanner.
Yeah, I never used to, but I just, I've just started to more within the last couple of years, I think. Before that, I never would use it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
And then you can go, if you want to keep kicking it old school, you can skip the emojis and go to the emoticons, colon, parentheses.
Oh, yeah.
Like the pre-emoji days.
Right. Yeah. So that's that's what an emoticon actually is. Which is.
I think that's the proper naming is what that goes by, I believe.
And are GIFs, is it GIF or GIF?
Oh, GIF for sure.
Because I heard someone told me that like the original, whoever used it originally said his intention of the interpretation was GIF. But I always say GIF.
I've never heard anyone that I would consider knowledgeable on any of that to
say GIF.
Say GIF. Yeah. What it actually stands for is Graphics Interchange Format, and yeah, like graphics is like the G. If you use the G from graphics, it's not J. Or it's not a. I'm mixing up my words here. It's not a GIF. Like graphics is not giraffe. It's it's the G is graphics. It's the G from graphics.
But do you look at it as just the GIF and how you would say that? As
Either
a
way,
word?
it's GIF.
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone in the know say GIF.
Yeah. Have you?
I've heard like one or two people say it, and I think, man, you sound like a lunatic right now.
And some people say I think a lot of people have probably heard this. People say meme or a meme or a meme.
Not knowing how to say meme.
Yeah, right.
Which I remember people struggling with that in like 2010.
Yeah.
Not knowing that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a break because the concept of a meme was kind of new then. But now, yes, every once in a while you hear someone say meme and you think, really? Like, are you that sheltered from the world and what's going on?
Right.
Because, that one has to, I don't think anyone would agree that meme is the correct way of doing
I think that's the universally accepted, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
We have some snow here on the...
that's Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Snow in Canada.
Down south, they got a little snow, huh? So, I mean, you're on the haha, to not ride the line, you're on haha. I kind of ride the line on that.
Yeah, you kind of do.
In practice, I do at least. If I had to pick, though, if I could only do one, I would go with haha. If I was only allowed one.
Like, because you can kind of like casually throw it at the end of a sentence.
Yeah.
You just still like a little insane if you just type something and instead of just a little haha, you do a LOL. Like, man, this guy needs to tone it down a little.
I'm just trying to think of the context of when I use LOL versus haha, and I don't know if I can even put it into words, but I know it when I know the feeling in my mind when I'm like, I feel like this is haha and this is LOL, and I can't even put it into words. Right. We did mention the drink spotter.
Yeah. Should we?
Right? Yeah.
Maybe should we read an ad quick before we?
But I've got a little surprise for you.
Don't
surprise
read for me.
Yes, don't read this next ad. We're going to have a little surprise. Hopefully. Do we got sound here?
We should.
All right. Are you all ready?
I'm strapped in.
Okay.
Today's episode is brought to you by The Strength Co. And today, this ad is being read by none other than me, Grant Brogy, a special uninvited guest on today's Massenomics podcast. At The Strength Co., we are committed to American jobs and American products, and as a result, have made the world's finest weightlifting plates ever made. Machined with precision and E-coated to perfection, our plates are made for you to pass down to your grandkids' grandkids. That's right, your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandkids can also make these their very own go-to plates. And guess what? This month only, friends of the podcast get a special savings. Our Black Friday sale goes Friday through Sunday after Thanksgiving, But for podcast supporting members, you get it all month long.
What?
Just use code MASS at checkout and save big.
Amazing. I feel like that needs like a nope. Yeah.
So that's real. Grant was talking about Code Mass. That's a real thing. And that's going to be their Black Friday deal. But for friends of the podcast, for Massenomics podcast listeners, you can use Code Mass, I believe, starting now. He said all month here, so I think it's good to go now.
Month, yeah.
Do you want to know what that saving get you?
Yes, please tell.
Spend $250 at the Strength Co. Get $25 off.
Ooh.
Spend $500 at the Strength Co. Get $50 off.
All right.
Spend $1,000 at the Strength Co. Get $150 off.
Nice.
15% off if you spend $1,000 a month. I mean, and if you're outfitting a gym with plates, that's very possible to do. Mm-hmm. And that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
Every order with the code MASS, M-A-S-S, gets a Make America Strong Again hat with it for free.
Yes, those hats.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I didn't bring a hat to show, but you get a free hat. That's actually works out pretty well. You don't have to buy their hats.
They just give them.
You just get a hat.
It's kind of the loophole.
You don't have to buy their hats. You don't have to buy their caps, but you get a free hat when you use code MASS. But actually, really good deals on the plates. I mean, I really like that ad by Grant, but all joking aside,
those
just
are
good deals.
Yeah, because there's not a lot of deals to be had
No.
these days.
No, I'm kind of thinking about using it.
Yeah, just I accidentally used my own code 5 times this month. That's use code MASS, accepted everywhere it ought to be,
Including the Strength Co.
Well, thanks for that ad.
Yeah.
Tanner, we should have a can because I'm getting thirsty.
Okay. Yeah. I always like
So
a good
I'm going to
can.
need you to strap up for this one.
All right. Luckily, I came prepared for just such an occasion. Someone at the gym, Big Caden, asked me, do you use, because I was wearing my headband this week, and he goes, do you use that headband for when you do what's in the can? And I'm like, no, this one's yellow.
No,
but,
silly. We own the company.
Yeah.
We can have unlimited headbands. We don't have to ration those things.
At home, I just have like a headband in every room, just in case. Just in case I want to drink a can of
You never want to be caught off guard.
just in case there's a random what's in the can segment.
All right, here we are. What is in the can, Tanner?
Isn't that that's the real question, isn't
That's
it?
the name of the game.
Okay. We just do battling moans back and forth into the microphone. Okay. You know what my fear has been the last few weeks on what's in the can? I don't know if you remember, a few weeks ago I brought a can.
Yep.
And, and I completely have forgotten what it is I brought. So.
I will say with that one, my wife got into those.
Okay.
One day I looked over and she was just drinking it, and I was like, "You can't drink that."
Yeah.
She goes, "What are you talking about? It's in the fridge."
No, I can't. That's better because I couldn't remember what it was, so I
Yeah.
kept worrying I was going to get. Not only do I get tricked on what's in the can, I was going to get tricked by the own one I brought.
I did forget them.
Okay.
I did forget about that. So yeah, this is not a trick like that.
I'm getting feeling a little raspberry or blackberry, maybe.
Okay.
It tastes good. It's a sparkling water. It tastes good. Let me take one more try. I'm not confident in my answer, but I think it's like, I don't know, blackberry.
Well, Tanner,
Blackberry.
Take a look. Take a look here.
Raspberry.
It is
pink
raspberry pink lemonade.
What did we have last time that was good from Polar? Because this is good too.
It was like cherry limeade.
Yeah.
I think.
Raspberry pink lemonade. I was kind of in the right. I was dancing around it
Yeah.
a little bit. That's really good, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Polar's been bringing the A game lately.
And where do you buy Polar at? Is that a brand of a certain? Is that like a Target brand? Okay.
That's where I've been getting it.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I give that.
We did have someone say Polar raspberry limeade on the Discord, so they knew just by looking at the top of it, which is pretty good.
Damn.
Pink cans, I guess. That easy to call.
Or is this a cherry Coke? Let me look again. No, it's not. Okay. I give it a no less than a 3.5.
I guess give this a 4 again.
Yeah.
It's just, they're tasty.
This is dancing between a 3.5 and a 4 to me.
4 JD Powers.
Yep.
There it is.
Pretty good. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. The drink spotter has been going off, Tanner.
The drink spot. So this is our first podcast that we've been able to record since the drink spotter has been for sale. As the time of recording this, it has been for sale for almost a week, about 6 days, I think.
Uh-huh. And we didn't have any clue. We've never sold metal
before.
And
I don't think we've really had this discussion on the podcast at all,
maybe,
right?
Yeah, maybe we didn't really actually.
Because we've never really talked prior to last week. I mean, we've had this conversation with ourselves many times, but last week I think we were just selling it, talking it up. But the reality is we had absolutely no idea of what to expect.
We know we have a decent idea on T-shirts. Usually we can gauge what might work and might not work.
Yes.
We also sell flags and banners, and we typically know how those goes.
Yep.
We have hats, but we know the rules on those. You don't buy
those,
hats.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, for the most part, our product offering.
Yeah.
And things made out of metal is a new territory. We were upbeat, we were positive about it, but we didn't know what would happen. We had no clue.
No.
Like, are we going to sell? First of all, are people even going to think this is a good idea? Like, it's one
Will
thing.
It be accepted?
Yeah, it's even one thing like getting people to buy, but are we going to put this out and is it just going to be this unanimous? Not even in a funny way. You guys are the dumbest people ever.
Yeah,
this is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Is that going to be the reaction, or is it just going to be like so, or are people going to like it? And it became obvious right away that the reaction was overwhelmingly positive.
Right. Received a lot of good comments. A lot, like my favorite comment to see, which we got a lot of at first, was like, "Holy crap, this is so stupid. I need to."
Yes, that was those were like there were several people like that, and those were like the perfect answers.
Wow, this is so absolutely ridiculous. I just bought mine.
Mm-hmm.
Like that kind of thing almost.
And there was a lot of people that did that.
Yeah,
and so that was the first thing that shocked me, was just how positive the response was, because it is a beverage holder, small item holder, and it's not exactly cheap, and it's not necessary by any means.
No,
but it's really cool, and it does really well what it's supposed to do.
And the feedback we got was like overwhelmingly positive.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, that was maybe a comment I saw a few people make. No one that really follows us closely. Certainly nobody in the close Massenomics family here or anything. But like that's the comment, like it's too expensive, or what do you need that for? Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, there's gonna be people that, of course, think, because it doesn't. Yeah, it's not necessary. Of course,
you could say almost anything in a home gym,
right? And
outside of a barbell and weights.
And it's not. I mean, you could really look at the cheap or expensiveness thing of it two ways. I would say, yeah, it's not cheap, kind of, but in a way, when you compare it to
the market you're dealing with,
yeah, you compare it to find Rogue's smallest power rack accessory that they sell, like their dinkiest little thing, and look at what they cost.
Yeah. When we talk about the landmine,
yeah,
it's just like two pieces of aluminum that are painted black with a sticker, and it's like $65. Yeah.
Right. And you now that we have this small taste into it, you kind of see why that is. I mean, just to be able to even take a shot at making it worth your time.
Yeah.
It's got to be there. We literally, there's no way we could charge less. If anything, like a sales pitch to buy one now is, there could come a time when, quite honestly, we have to charge a little more for it just to like even continue to make it worth our time.
We've talked about that several times. This might be the cheapest batch of them ever.
I'll say this: we're selling it for as cheap as we can and still like be able to justify it being worth what goes into it.
And like Big Nick says, compared to a reverse hyper, it is a steal.
If anyone saw the verses on that, it costs a fraction of a reverse hyper.
So we were, I guess, looking at that though. The first thing was that felt good, like maybe we're onto something here, is that there was tons and tons of positive reaction from basically everyone, it seemed like.
Yep.
And then even better, we were selling the damn things. Yeah, people were buying them.
Right.
There's been a fair number of people that bought two, which we never actually thought that was even possible.
Yeah, we just commented that before we started recording tonight, that it just how surprised I'm like, well, people are buying 2. I never thought about people buying 2.
The first time an order for 2 came in, I thought, God, did that person accidentally pick 2? And then it wasn't long after that someone else also ordered 2.
Yeah.
And that just never crossed my mind that could ever happen, that someone would want to buy 2 of these. But people are doing it.
Yep.
And I love those people that do it.
Yep.
Those are great customers.
A lot of people should have theirs by now, especially by the time that this comes out on Monday. But even as we sit here and talk, we've been getting them shipped out as quickly as possible. And, as of today, if you ordered it today, it's not shipped yet, but anything prior to today has been shipped out. So a lot of drink spotters hitting their forever homes this week.
Yeah. Yes, they are. So yeah, that's been a really fun product for us. It's been an exciting one. It kind of does feel like it has a little bit of a life of its own.
It does.
And I'm excited to see more of those things get out there and see what people say about them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really fun. It is. I mean, you talked about it. It is just a whole different thing for us, really. So it's kind of been exciting, and we haven't been disappointed. I mean, I think it's, without getting into the exact numbers, like it's exceeded what probably our average guess of what we might have
just
seen
because
was,
we always have a very, very conservative,
right,
like almost negative view of how things will go.
Yeah.
We kind of always assume the worst always. So.
Right. And then when it does better, you're like, hi.
Then when it's not the worst, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that worked out okay. So, we've been very excited. And thank you to everyone that's bought one so far.
So as of right now, there still is stock in both the 5/8 pin and the 1 inch.
And that was the other one.
1 inch pin size.
There's 5/8 and 1 inch pin. We didn't know what option would be more popular.
5/8 seems to be a little more popular now.
5/8
so especially if you want a 5/8, what we could run into, we still have pretty good stock of both right now, but we don't know what the exact lead time is going to be on a reorder, and it's an expensive thing we get into with the quantities we have to buy, so we're not too eager to pull a trigger on a reorder too early, I guess.
Yeah, until stock is really getting down there.
Right. So there could be a point where there's they're sold out for a period of time while we're waiting. So
especially 5/8, the way it's looking on 5/8.
Right. So don't sleep on the drink spotter.
Don't be doing that.
Put safety first.
Do we have we've been just knocking things out of our list here, Tanner.
That's right.
And then also along the lines of that, Elite FTS did do a video too. So everyone did. We sent a lot of these things out to people. There's a lot of people that did give us some good shout outs, posted some videos, some just photos on Instagram, things like that. Elite FTS kind of surprised us with the lengths they went to on theirs.
Yeah.
And it was
Sam and Dave on their table talk.
Really funny for me because you sent it to me. Was that Saturday morning?
Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, yeah. And my parents were actually in town, and they're at my house, and I'm looking at my phone, and everyone's just like, "Why are you smiling so much at your phone?"
Yeah.
Because I hadn't started the video yet. I was just pumped. Like I see this come through, and I'm like, "Oh, this." So I'm trying
it's like a 3-minute segment.
I'm trying to figure out what's the way I can dumb this down the most for it to make any sense. And so I just say another company that makes equipment. We sent them one of our drink spotters, and they made a video about it. And they're like, "Oh, okay." And then so like my family can hear what's going on, and the first. Did they say the F word? And not that they care about that, but I think when someone says, "Oh yeah, we sent this to a company,"
an owner of a company is saying the F word,
and then they're like, "Oh, it's a dildo in there," and they go. My wife goes, "Who do they think you guys are? Like some deranged lunatics over here, like some degenerates that like who?" She goes, "What is their vision of you guys?" And that did make me laugh.
Yeah, that's funny. That is funny. It was really fun seeing Sam and Dave's reaction to that, and his what seemed to be a very honest reaction of like his immediate reaction, like caught on tape of like that's like I think he says like that's actually
it's happening in real time.
Yeah, it's like that's actually a really good idea, and it's like that's does make you feel like justified or like
there's some validity in this idea,
validated, Yeah, he shared it, and a lot of other interesting people sharing stuff around. Brandon Campbell, we got to see it on his rack there. Meg Squats was using it in her home gym, keeping her baby toys in there.
Yep.
Who else was sharing it around?
Did you say Adam yet?
Oh, yeah, Big Adam, Garage Gym Lab. He was doing like 1,000 rep squat.
Yeah.
Garage Gym, what is it?
Experiment.
Yes. Garage Gym Experiment shared it. There's a few other. Big F. I think it's Efren.
Oh yeah,
He has his custom gold one already.
He loves gold.
Yeah, I love gold.
Do we have a sack over here, Tanner?
Oh yeah.
Do we want to do that now?
Yeah, we better do that quick
Okay.
if you're ready.
Oh, I am ready. All right, Tanner is. This sack is in a very large box. So, oh yeah.
Started on that.
Oh,
Bow, bow.
here we go. From all of us at Fusion, thank you, Tanner and Tommy. Do you know what's in your banners? Me either, but it's probably a vinyl of some sort. Happy to continue supporting the podcast. Marat, you did it, you crazy son of a bitch. You did it. You got the Fusion supplements. I like that on the back of the card. That's really good.
Yeah, that is funny. And he sent us this banner. I've been telling him we need a Fusion banner for the gym.
Yeah, let's see this thing. Oh, sweet.
So there she
I like
is.
it. You know, not enough companies use purple. Purple is a color a lot of companies like to shy away from. You know, much like Spud Ink has the market cornered on yellow.
Yeah.
Fusion rocks purple pretty well.
Yep.
Awesome.
Then we got a couple of their products there. I don't know if we
Yeah, what do we got? Hold up.
showed
Tanner.
that. We got the old Super Soldier
Super Soldier
pre-workout.
Pre.
Flavor we got here is Gamma Green Apple.
Okay.
It's almost like the green apple was in a nuclear incident.
Got bit by a radioactive spider.
Yep. And then, none other than Fusion's whey protein isolate. Yeah, you guessed it.
Chocolate of some
Chocolate
sort.
of
right
some
there.
sort. Convenient 2-pound container.
Some guys really just have it all, don't they?
Yep. They
Wow.
do.
Well,
So
thank
that's-
you. Thank you, Fusion.
Thank you, Fusion. That's what was in our sack today. And speaking of great companies that I like, that we all like here, Tommy, do you know about Texas Power Bars? Buddy Caps first started lifting weights in the late 60s, but began powerlifting in the mid 70s. At that time, he was working for Image Barbell building gym equipment. Around 1976, a local machine shop started making Olympic bars for them and calling it the Image Bar. In 1977, Image Barbell became Champion Barbell. It was then that Buddy started looking at the bars with an intent of changing them for the better. In 1979, Buddy bought his first lathe to begin addressing the known issues. In 1980, his passion, drive, and purpose now had a greater mission. Buddy set out on his own to make what he believed was the greatest bar he'd ever seen and trained with, and the Texas Power Bar was birthed. It was strong as a house with the best knurling, and it was maintenance-free. Hundreds of state, national, international, and world powerlifting records have been and continue to be set and broken on the Texas Power Bar. Visit them at texaspowerbars.com. I did just see they took a page out of the Massenomics book, a limited 100 quantity of
Camo barbell.
camo Cerakote barbells.
It looked really cool.
I debated that I might need to get one of those. I ultimately didn't pull the trigger.
It did look
I
really
kind of
cool,
actually
didn't
just felt like, yeah, they're probably all sold.
Yeah.
Like, I bet they sold through 100 of those pretty
was a
quick.
good idea.
It looked like Grant might have bought one, I thought, but was a cool looking. So check that out. Maybe they still got some of those left, but I'm guessing if you snoozed, you losed on that one. But who knows?
We'll never know.
There's no way of actually ever knowing.
All right. Should we say goodbye to Discord?
Yeah. Goodbye, you filthy animals.
Bye, Discord. They're gone.
Thank God. Now we can finally talk about those guys now that they're out of the room.
Now we can have some fun.
If you are interested in the getting in on the Discord, which part of that is you get to listen early on this podcast, you get to listen live. All you got to do is become a supporting member of the podcast, and you can do that by heading over to our website and signing up. We got multiple options there.
Yep. Or just go to massenomics.com/join.
It's that simple.
There. Take you right there.
It's almost too simple sometimes, isn't it?
Very simple.
So come get signed up. We'd love to have you on the Massenomics family. Should we get our guest on the horn?
Let's do it.
Let's get him on the horn, as I've been known to say.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Joey. I'm currently out doing something crazy, so I couldn't attend your phone call. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I will call you back as soon as I can. Thank you.
I just wanted to listen to his full.
See what's all there. All right.
Well, that gave away the surprise. It's Joey.
Joey.
Yeah.
Come on.
What Joey, though? Is it Joey from Friends?
I don't even know what Joey it is.
It's a surprise.
Do you even know what Joey it is, Tanner? Or did you just put a guy named
I just
Joey
was
in your
looking
phone?
for, yeah, oh, he's calling us.
Oh.
Perfect timing.
Oh, Colin, guess.
Hello, is this Big Joey?
Hey, what's going on?
We just got to listen to your voicemail message. We didn't leave a message, though.
Oh, you should have. I think that was from when I was like 16.
Well, it says you're out doing something crazy right now, so.
Is that true?
This is crazy. This is 10 p.m. and you got me on a podcast. It's the craziest thing I've ever done.
So, Big Joey, Szatmary, we're excited to get you on the podcast. Myself, I'm Tanner, and then Tommy's over here, too.
Very cool. I'm excited, and thanks for having me.
Thanks for staying up late for us.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be up at 3:45 to go hunting. So you guys are my favorite people right now.
So if we just stretch this out a couple hours, you don't even have to worry about going to bed then.
I'm actually probably better off, honestly. Why don't we should get this podcast the longest episode you've ever had, the longest one I've ever done, and then I will shoot a deer and it'll be epic.
So what do you're going, is it whitetail deer? What kind of deer are where you're at?
Well, they're hidden deer right now, but they're whitetail. So this is my first hunting season. I've hunted small game in the past, but this is the first time I've ever gone for a large game. So I'm kind of learning the ropes of that, but I'm really enjoying it and having a blast.
And you're in Pennsylvania, is that right?
Yes, good old Bucks County.
Okay. We're from, we call it Western Northeast South Dakota.
Northeast South Dakota.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we like to be ultra specific with that, so as to not cause any confusion. But we have a pretty high population of whitetail deer where we're at. If you're ever in the area, bring your bow, and we could probably set you up on some big bucks, I think.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, man. I'm actually supposed to go out to Oklahoma in a couple weeks and do like a guided hunt out there with some of the people from Bear Archery. So I'm excited about that. But if I'm ever in the area, I mean, obviously we're gonna get some lifting in, right? But then hopefully we'll get a buck and we can like put it on our shoulders and do overhead buck squats.
We always extend that offer to every guest. If you're ever in the area of Western Northeast South Dakota, stop by. And I don't know if it's because no one's still been able to figure out the exact area, but we haven't gotten very many people to take us up on that yet.
Well, honestly, I love to travel, man. And I think in the future, if you guys want to make something happen, I'm more than happy to do a collab together and check out the gym you guys got.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we got our gym at our full disposal, so it works great for video.
I think we can make something happen there.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. So hopefully in the future we'll set something up.
Yeah. So Coach Joey, I guess if you could give everyone a little bit of rundown on what you got going on, from our perspective, just to give our quick view of it. We know you got the gym out there. You're doing a podcast. Running a really successful YouTube channel at this point, competed in strongman, at least we know for sure. I'm pretty sure you won nationals at least once before, and doing, we've seen you on a lot of collaborations and working with other people on YouTube. So that's kind of how we became familiar with you.
Yeah. I mean, just like you guys said, I've been training for a long time, probably like 15-ish years. I'll probably say the last, 8 years, I've gotten pretty competitive. It started off just after college sports. I was a college lacrosse player, switched it up, got into CrossFit at the time, and then competed in that for a little bit, fell in love with Olympic weightlifting, competed in that, and then got into strongman. And strongman kind of has been, I would say, like the most fun and the biggest sport that I'm into right now. However, I just put on the interwebs that I'm going to do an Ironman in the fall of 2022. So
a full
that's kind of, yeah.
Which is a marathon, like 100 and some mile bike, and how far of a swim?
2 mile swim. Oof. Yeah.
Oh man, have you ever done anything like that before?
The closest thing I ever came to is I ran a half marathon really hungover one time. So
yeah, you're pretty much good then.
Yeah, you're gonna go.
Yeah,
I'd say
yeah, so-
you don't need to do any additional training up to that. I think you're
I
good.
like to say I'm going to start coaching people in Ironmans based on my experience, but no, this is very out of my comfort zone. So
Can you swim?
yeah.
Like, are you a good swimmer?
I'm going to go with a no on that.
That'd be the part that would worry myself if I was thinking about it the most.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so I'm going to be
Yeah.
getting some swim lessons and
Okay.
hopefully sneak some floaties in with me somewhere in my wetsuit that I can pull out periodically. But yeah, I mean, I've been involved with strength sports for a good amount of time now. I own the gym. I'm very passionate about just helping people, specifically with strength training. You know, like that's my main thing. But I've had the gym now for 5 years and it's grown and it's been successful. So that's been really cool.
the
And
Lions
then,
Den.
yeah.
Lions Den, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's in Bucks County, right outside of Philadelphia, by about like a half hour. But yeah, I got into the YouTube thing. I want to say almost like 10 years ago at this point. It's pretty crazy, and I used YouTube at the time to just document my own training as like a photo album, kind of. You know, like hopefully one day I'll look back and just watch myself progress, and then. I did that with like the training blogs, and then I didn't start really taking it seriously. I want to say until the last 3 years. So, started getting a lot of collabs with people in the industry, and honestly, that's been something that I've really enjoyed because I've been able to learn from other coaches and athletes, and even though I'm a coach myself, like I really love like the Dave Tate live, learn, pass on type of philosophy. So I'm just trying to soak up as much information as possible, deliver a better product to myself and then my athletes that I coach, and I've kind of been doing that for some time. So yeah, I guess that's kind of the background. I did win nationals as a strongman competitor, so I took that pretty seriously for a few years, and I'm just having fun right now, honestly, just enjoying it and having a good time with everything.
Right on. Do you think you'll, thinking about the Ironman training, I would think some of the strength training maybe has to take a backseat a little bit at that point to some of that stuff. Maybe not as much as I'm thinking. That's just the first thing that comes to my head, into my head when I think about it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm just trying to hang on to or maintain as much as I can. With that, because the training is going to be very intensive. It's going to take a lot of energy. It's going to take a lot of hours, a lot of time. So for me, I'm just trying to work on training at least 3 times to maybe 4 times a week. Still trying to keep some regular lifting involved. But for me, it's just going to be about maintenance at that point. If I lose something, it is what it is. Like my main focus is just going to be complete the Ironman. So
Yeah.
whatever,
Whatever
I
that
have
takes,
to do, is going to be what it is.
Do you see a scenario where you get as serious as you were into strongman again at some point too? Like competing at nationals and doing that sort of thing. Is that something you want to do again, or are you kind of done with that?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, my goal. So I don't know if you guys maybe saw, but I tore my bicep about 14 weeks ago with Juji Mufu and Eric Bugenhagen. We had some fun there, a little bit too much fun. But then, tore my bicep. But before I tore the bicep, I had a pro strongman show. And then I was going to do the OSG, which would have been for the top 105 guys in the world, which would be my weight class. So my goal was to compete in that. And I was kind of going all in with that prep and expectations to place very highly. So for me, the bicep tear has just been like a reset period, kind of just focused on some other things, trying to stay positive, get through it by focusing on what I can do instead of what I can't do. So training wise, it's just been, switching it up a little bit. This Ironman's a fun goal, but I think I'm still going to do some strongman competitions while I'm doing the Ironman prep just for fun. But then once that's out of the way, I would really like to, go to OSG, hopefully at some point have a world title for my weight class, and then potentially for nationals again as a 2-time or whatever national champion.
Right on. On the YouTube side of it, something Tommy and I were talking about even before we recorded, that, you know, fitness YouTube, I don't know if you consider it a crowded space, but there's plenty of out there to consume if someone wants to. But yet you've managed to make a really good name for yourself in there, and you know, it seems like you've been very successful with it. Just wondering what are a couple things you attribute that success to? You know, can you pinpoint it to anything in particular?
Yeah, just not sumo deadlifting. No, just kidding.
I knew it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
we knew that was one of them.
Yeah, if you sumo deadlift, you get no subscribers. I don't know if the algorithm has shown that, but no.
You get shadow banned for that.
Yo, no joke. I'm actually shadow banned right now. I mean, that's a whole other story for another day, but I am actually under a shadow ban, which kind of sucks. But before that happened, honestly, for me, it's even though it is saturated, I think the main thing that I try to do is just share a story and get people involved more with the story, because that's what interests people. I like to think of it like a movie, right? Like having different aspects or different parts of a movie. So I do the same thing with the storyline of the channel. You know, I'm starting this Ironman journey now. So people who've been longtime subscribers, they get to know, like, and trust me, because I'm very vulnerable. I put it all out there, and I'm in it to build relationships with people. You know, like I'm really honestly like being transparent is like money is cool, right? We all need money. We love money. But for me, it's like I really value high quality relationships. And even though I have say 100,000 subscribers, like I try to truly get across to each and every one of those people in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's really helped build my social media presence, because, you know, I'm what you see is what you get. Like whatever you're watching is exactly who I am. And, you know, I try to always say to myself, like, I want to be a guy who you want to sit down and have a beer with. You know, like that's kind of the message I try to convey with people, and show them I go through the same things that they go through, the ups, the downs, all around. But yeah, so for the YouTube channel, it's just been trying to have a good storyline, keeping people engaged with what I'm doing. And obviously I like to put out informative content. I try to make it entertaining and educational, but you know, at the same time, I think just by creating that narrative and that story is just an easy way to you know, keep the viewers interested in what I'm doing. And it's something that's never going to end, because if you, or at least what I've seen YouTubers that kind of petered out, is maybe they were strictly educational. It's like that can only work for so long before that kind of gets old or boring, or someone new's taking the you know, the space. So if you can build a good storyline, you know, they're going to be engaged with what you're doing for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. Talking about some of your collaborations that you've done, you know, I've seen several of them, but is there any one I would say that sticks out to you, like one individual that's you've enjoyed collaborating with the most, or any short list that you really have enjoyed in the process?
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I've had a blast with Juji Mufu, hands down. I mean, the guy is just awesome to be around. He's become one of my closest friends, which is really cool. Like, I never thought like that guy would be someone who I talk to on a fairly regular basis, who I see on a fairly regular basis, who's hung out with my family members, like stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome. He's such a genuine guy, and like I just said, you know, I value that kind of connection and relationship with somebody. But with him, I mean, we've done so many crazy things together. So it's hard to think about like one that really has stood out. But you know, not to be like harping on it, but like I tore my bicep with him, and like leading up to that, like those videos were awesome. They were so much fun. There was like me and Eric Bugenhagen beating the crap out of each other with sock and bopper, you know, like gloves, and him throw me around like a rag doll, because he's like a pro wrestler, you know. And then we're trying to max out all his machines in his gym as heavy as we can, and just doing meathead stuff. But you know, that's been fun. The other person I would say is Alan Thrall. I don't know if you guys know who he is from Untamed Strength.
We've had him on the podcast before. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the man. He's like he's also a guy where we're like best friends, and it just sucks that we're on different coasts. But I've been able to work with him on so many just fun collaborations, and the cool thing is too is like it is work, but it's not. Like I get to look at it like I just get to hang out with my friends. We sit around a table, come up with some cool ideas that we think is going to bring, either laughter or make people think differently, or educate them in some way, shape, or form. So it's just always a blast. The one of the most recent ones that really stick out actually is when I went to Dave Tate's Lead FTS, and he put me through the hardest leg workout of my life. It was actually 3.5 hours long, and I was holding back throw up the entire time, man. Like it was really bad. It was something, but it was cool because I got to see just like how much wisdom he has from being in the industry and a coach for so long, and basically kind of put us through a gauntlet. It was actually Juji and I who went through it, but at the same time, he was so like father-like, like caring and wanting to make sure that we were okay, like we were safe, we were getting through this whole thing. So it's just kind of cool. Like you felt like you were almost back in like a high school sport where it's like the coach is like harping on you, but that at the same time, the guy like loves and cares about you. So it's just like a unique experience. But yeah, I've been so fortunate to work with all the people that I have worked with. I was actually really close with John Meadows before he passed away. So, that was a really cool experience. I was able to train with him and have him as somebody kind of later in my life be able to help me out with business and training. Mike Isertel from RP Strength is one of my really good friends. I actually had the pleasure of him being my training partner throughout the entire COVID period, which is pretty cool because he lived in Philadelphia and Philly got closed down. So just, yeah, like weird stuff. And I've met so many people that I never thought would be in my life, or, I'd be doing podcasts with or hanging out. Even you guys, it's just crazy how it all works out. Yeah. But the collabs they're a blast. Like I love when I can do collabs, and there's nothing better than, you calling it work, but it's really just a lot of play.
Is there anyone on like your dream list that you'd like to do a collab with that you haven't got to yet?
Oh man, that's a tough question. I thought it would be cool to hang out with some of like the World's Strongest Man guys.
Yeah.
I saw Thor. Yeah, and I think that'll happen at some point. It just depends on when everything lines up. But I saw like, what was it, like Thor punching somebody in the stomach, and I was like, I was like, I think I want to actually have him do that to me. Like, I just take a punch from the mountain. Like, all right, but yeah, so I'd say probably hanging out with some of those guys. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else on my list. There's a lot of the people I think it's just a matter of time before, because right now it's just tough with everybody's schedules. But I think, I spent several years just trying to build genuine connections with certain people. And, I think I'm at the point now where it's like, if I really wanted to probably hang out with somebody, I could. So I think at this point, it's just like I said, I actually asked myself the same thing. Like, could I see myself having a beer with this person, or just hanging out, and that's kind of how
do you actually want to hang out with it? Like, making the video is just one part of the whole thing. The rest of it is like, you're actually probably going and going to hang out with this dude. Got to be around that person for a little while. Right. Like, yeah. People probably don't think about that all the time,
No, and I'm not going to really discuss it, but I've had some bad collabs too.
That's what I wanted to ask that too. Yeah. I figure you're probably not going to name names. You're more than welcome to name names. We'd love to entertain that, but like, I imagine you've had some before too, where it's like, oh, that's fine, we'll make a video, but it's like, yeah, I probably don't need to hang out with him anymore.
So chances are, if I've made videos with someone and you never see me make them again, there's probably something there that didn't really go very well. But no, yeah, I've unfortunately have seen the other side of the industry, if you want to say that, if we will. But it's just, it's easy to portray yourself a certain way. on your YouTube channel or your Instagram. And then, you know, when you meet the person in real life, it's like the age old saying, like, don't meet your heroes, you know, because then it's like you find out that they're just nothing what they portray, or they're really just an a-hole and they don't care about people. And so I've unfortunately have seen that side, and that's why for me, I tend to just have a small group of people I collab with. And, you know, if I do reach out or branch out, it's through people I trust. And I really ask them, like, hey, so-and-so, like, am I going to like this person? And they'll be like, no, dude, you definitely will. Okay. So I'm like, all right. So I'll take their word for it and I'll go off of it. But, you know, there's been people who, I won't collab with again, or who I just won't reach out to just because of what I've heard. So I just try to protect myself, my image, my brand. And it's tough because there's some big name people, right, that it's like tempting because it'll help. It could
do something for the numbers. Yeah, right.
For sure. And at that point, though, for me, it becomes just like a morals kind of thing. But, you know, don't get me wrong. There's a ton of awesome people out there, and the people I surround myself with are awesome. So if you see me working with, you know, whoever I choose to work with, you know, I kind of hold that to a high standard, and they're awesome. But yeah, unfortunately, like with anything, man, there's going to be good and bad.
Yeah. Yes. One other thing I was thinking about the YouTube, and, you know, someone I trained with kind of brought this up too. They said, make sure to ask you if you remember the first YouTube video you ever made. Which is still there. I watched it. As long as I believe they've sent it to me. I believe this is the first one. What they said was the first one you've ever made.
Is it the CrossFit champion one?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
listen.
You remember then?
Yeah, I called freaking Rich Froning on YouTube. Yeah,
yes.
That worked out real good for me. Let me tell you guys. No, you know, that video is awesome, and that's why I keep it there, because it just shows you like my mindset. And not to say that I'll ever be Rich Froning, but like I was like, when I got an idea in my head, like I'll go all in. You know, if you know me, like I'm that kind of guy. And I remember this sounds so effed up, but I remember like watching this guy and being like, yeah, dude, like I can do that. You know, like I was that guy where, you know, we've all heard, and maybe we've been that guy at some point, but I was just him, and I started making this video, and wow, is my form atrocious, and it's pretty hilarious. So I keep it as just a memento to remember where I came from, laugh at myself here and there.
Yes.
And at the same time, it's like, you know, it's not, I won't say it's far-fetched, but there could be a day where I meet Rich Froning and I just am like, hey, dude, I want to show you this video.
I got to show you something here. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more fun to keep that stuff around. You know,
and it shows where you started to like now, because it like shows that the trajectory isn't always just this straight, like easy path. Like there's a lot that happens between now and then.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, at that time, I'll be honest, I gave CrossFit a good shot, but then I fell in love with Olympic lifting. So, you know, it's not to say that it was like, you know, something that I didn't actually try or do. And like you said, it just shows growth. You know, a lot of the videos I put out early on, I disagree with, you know, but I think it's like, I don't want to paint this perfect YouTube channel. Like, it'd be so easy for me to get on there and just start deleting videos that do bad, or they're getting trashed on. It's just like, you know, no, like that's life. It's like lifting. You're gonna have some bad reps. And what do? You learn from them. So it's like, you know, I think in the future, I want to do some like videos where I react to myself from videos I put out like 8 years ago, you know, and just be like, yep, I don't know what the hell I was saying there. Like, I'm an idiot, you know, but at the same time, it's like, I'm able to do that. And I always tell people, like, I'm going to be the first person to call myself out or make fun of myself. Like I made my own natty or not video against myself, you know, like I'm going to be the first one to beat myself to the punchline. And it's like, you know, because I know what the internet's going to do. And at this point, it's just like, whatever, I have fun with it. And I just always am trying to do the best I can to just really just help people, man. That's what it comes down to for me.
That's cool. You've got your gym there. We've got Massenomics gym here. We kind of talked about that, and we've had that for 6 years now. This month, actually, we've had it, but we kind of have the luxury. It's like just a little bit of a club gym. We don't really operate it to make money. You know, it sustains itself and stuff, but we're doing some other things that it's not really like, it's a pretty low pressure situation for us. The Lions Den, how long have you had that? And like, didn't necessarily dig deep enough. Did you have like different iterations of the gym prior to that? Like, what's been like the trajectory of the gym ownership part of it for you?
Yeah, so this is always a fun story. So I hope you guys are ready for this one, because people always love the Lions Den history, because there is some history to it. So,
yeah, because I think it's interesting too, because a lot of people just even I don't know the story, so I am really excited to hear it. But like, a lot of people always think owning a gym is like this
dream job.
Yeah, and like
effortless.
Yeah, and like
it's like, oh, I'm going to work at what I love every day.
It's like
not working a day in my life.
That is not exactly what it's always like. But yeah, go ahead.
All right, fellas, this is a good one. So I'm fresh out of college. I'm passionate. I'm watching a lot of Yo Elliott videos, if you guys remember those videos. Yeah. Before he got into whatever he is now, he was the man. He was a legend. So I watched a lot of his videos, a lot of Zach Evanesh, and that's kind of where my roots were set in with what I kind of envisioned my training to look like, how I was coaching, etc. I had a family friend who was opening up their own gym, and I kind of came on board really early on to help start this business. I did that for a couple of years, and I give a lot of credit to that couple of years, because it showed me, how to become a coach. It showed me who I wanted to deal with, who I didn't want to deal with as a coach. It showed me business without really being tied financially to a business, which was very valuable, because I was just able to watch everything and be a part of it, but not, have a financial burden or anything like that. And then from there, I had some weird, life things happen, and I stopped being a coach, and I actually became a full-time pool man. So I was building pools, working on pools, servicing pools, and I was doing this all throughout the week. Basically working like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. long days.
Is the preferred term pool man or pool boy?
Listen, I'm going to set this straight. All right. Because one time I said pool boy, and I got ripped apart, and they were like, no, you're a pool man. so now you got it. Yeah. It's just burned in my brain to say pool man. Us pool men take that job very seriously. So I was doing that, and the whole time I was doing that, I just realized, like, I really just love training, and it was like that weird thing that you had to learn in life, right? Like, I'm making a lot of money doing this pool man stuff, but I'm feeling this void, and the void was that I needed to be, going towards what I was passionate about. So what I had done is I started start my own little garage gym, because what happened was when I would come in from work, I'd be so tired that I didn't want to go to the gym. So I started just outfitting the garage. And this is like before garage gyms were like cool, right? Like people like really weren't doing this kind of thing. So I was doing that. And then little by little, some of my old clients started catching on that I was working out of my garage. And then I was always carrying like Atlas stones and kegs and doing weird things in the neighborhood. So I started getting people from the neighborhood to catch on. And they would kind of ask me like, hey, what are you doing? And I would just say, listen, just come work out. Like, you don't have to pay me anything. When I was starting, just like come, we'll just, throw some weight around. So we did that for a little while still working. And then as it grew and grew, I think at some point I had over like 100 some waivers signed for this like not legit garage gym that like the waiver, full disclosure, the waivers did not do anything, but I had like 100 of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was just like sitting there, like looking at someone else's waiver, typing everything up and whatever.
I'm familiar with that process.
Have to do what you got to do, So I was doing that. And then I had asked my boss at the pool company if I could scale back. So we had scaled back my hours, and I was actually going back to school. I was doing some personal training in the garage and working as a pool man. Long story short, I was kind of eventually eased my hours out, and I was doing the garage gym thing full time. In the meantime, I was kind of subleasing out of another gym as well. And then finally, I just wanted to be like, I got to pull the trigger on this gym thing, because I knew that it would never be, how I wanted to be unless I was running it myself. And it had nothing to do with anybody else or any other gym I was a part of. It was just like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it in its entirety. So finally pulled the trigger. And then this is where the story gets good. But I had to tell you that background information because this is like what you guys were saying, right? You think it's all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Well, I unfortunately got the worst crash course in business ever before my gym ever started. And you're going to be like, what? How does that make sense? Well, here we go. So I was looking around all different places, had a realtor, found this location on a main street, and it was a retail building. Okay, so if you have retail and commercial is always going to be a higher price. For those of you that don't know who are listening to this, commercial is typically going to be a little bit cheaper. So I was paying a pretty good amount of rent to be on like a main street in a town.
Yep.
And my mindset was like, we're going to get a lot of foot traffic. People are going to walk past this place. It's going to be a hit. The other thing was not thinking about it is that there was meter parking. So my dumbass was like, oh, I'm going to have a jar full of quarters all the time for people, like whatever I had to do to convince myself this is going to work out. Yeah. So I spent months, just myself and maybe one or two other people putting this whole gym together, working like 12-hour days, doing construction, painting, equipment, you name it. But I was so fired up and passionate, like it did not matter. So all said and done, I'm about ready to open up. I have all these pre-sales of people who are going to sign up because here I am being Coach Joe on Facebook, putting out videos like every other day, like, you guys can't wait to see the Lion's Den. Like, this is going to be the sickest thing since sliced bread. And I had about 60 some people signed up, committed. And a week before I opened, I wanted to do like a trial run of the gym and just kind of see like what the flow is like. So I asked about 15 people to come in. Well, I had 15 people come in. The first thing I noticed right away is that this location is way too small to hold the amount of people, which was like kind of like a good problem in my head, but like not a good problem at the same time. Because if you could have just see what I saw, I was like, this is just way too tight and crammed. Like this doesn't look right. So anyway, so we have some stations set up for people to do some lifts, a little bit of conditioning, etc. The good stuff. So I'm like getting ready to have everybody start. We got some deadlifts in the corner. Everything's looking great. Well, when I tell people to start lifting, I had one of my guys who was deadlifting 315. He goes to deadlift 315, and when he dropped the bar, I swear I thought an earthquake had happened in the building. And I'm literally, so I'm literally like, wait, what the hell was that? Like, what actually just happened? So he does it again. The walls are shaking. Like this is not good. So then he keeps doing it. And then I hear through my wall stuff falling off my neighbor's walls. Well, the best part is my next door neighbor was a tattoo artist. So they're tattooing people while we're literally shaking the entire place. And like their artwork's falling off the walls. They're like, I don't even know, but all I know is this guy was pissed. And and here I am like sweating bullets. Like I'm supposed to open up in 7 days. Well, anyway, what happened is the way the floor was set up is the structural beam ran under my unit and the other unit. So anything felt on one side was felt on the other side. The other problem was that instead of having a concrete floor, it was concrete slabs of like almost like 5x5 concrete.
Yep.
So when they were dropping the weight, it was breaking the floor at the same time. So not good. So try to talk to my landlord, and then needless to say, that would have cost me a couple $100,000 to even make the building worth it.
Yep.
So my gym wasn't even able to open the first time. So that was like the first like most embarrassing thing that had happened to me. But I'm not gonna lie, like it sucked, but my mind I was like, all right, I'm gonna find the next location. So a couple months go by, the people are saying stuff about me, but I'm like, I don't care, whatever. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing. This is all part of the journey. Find the second location, and the second location was commercial space, so a lot cheaper, but it was very like dungeony looking, like, and it was an old warehouse building. It used to be like a Pep Boys automotive warehouse. So yeah, it was just kind of dirty. They had a lot of cars in there. Definitely different from where we were at, but I kind of like really like I want to say like fell into that kind of like vibe. Like this is this is going to be a badass place. Like if you want to work hard, like you're going to come to this gym, etc. Blah blah blah. So have that going for me. Same exact thing goes through where I'm setting up the gym. I have to build bathrooms and I have to build an office, so I have to put stuff through the township. Well, for some reason, the township like wasn't getting back to me. And I was kind of like, all right, well, at this point, I really got to get this gym up and running. And, they were slacking, or so I thought. So I talked to my landlord, and he keeps saying it's a township. Well, I ended up going to the township. When I talked to the township, they say it's your landlord. So now I'm confused. Well, who's telling me what here? So more time goes on because the landlord keeps saying, we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure this out. But now I'm at the point where I'm like losing all my money, I've got like nothing. So this really sucks. And, then I'm starting to kind of sweat some bullets here. Like, okay, like if this doesn't work, like I really got to figure this out. Meanwhile, there's no bathroom in this gym I'm training. So I'm pissing in jugs, like no lie. I swear to God, I'm literally peeing in jugs. If I had to go number 2, I got to run across the CVS. They think I'm some heroin addict because I'm like, running to CVS every like 3 or 4 hours. So finally I bust into the landlord's office and I'm like, yo, dude, like what is going on? And he's just like has this look on his face. And I knew right away, I was like, whatever he says is not what I'm going to want to hear. So, So he straight up says to me, like, he's trying to put his own business next to me, but due to the amount of parking spots needed, like one of them's not going to work. So obviously he's trying to run his own business. He's a landlord. He was trying to talk with the township to make both work, but the township wasn't having it. So he basically said, like, I'm sorry, dude, like I got to put my business in there. Like the gym thing's not going to work. So I'm not going to lie. When that had happened, I felt like I got kicked in the nuts so hard that I just had no more nuts.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. How many false starts do you got to go through?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not going to lie. I went through a pretty bad depression because I was embarrassed. I didn't know what to do from there. I kind of didn't know if this was like the universe or God or something telling me like, hey man, maybe the pool man thing was, yeah. So a lot of things are going through my head. And then, so I had this talk, and I always talk about this phone call with my best friend, because it was like one of those, like, just movie scene moments with your best friend where I called him and I was like, dude, like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Like, I said, I think I failed. And I shit you not. He's like, if you don't make this gym happen, that's when you fail. And I was just like, damn, like he was so
just
right.
Drop the bomb.
Yeah. So I got on the phone call with my landlord, and we had saw a bunch of places, and none of them were right. And then it was like another movie scene moment where he gives me this call. He's like, dude, we got one more, but we're gonna have to look at it at like 7 p.m. And I'm just like, like, I don't want to go like at 7 p.m. Like it's going to be a dud. He's like, come on, just trust me. I think it's going to be a good one. So I'm like, all right, fine. Well, anyway, we show up, and then that ended up being where the gym is today, and it's been there for 5 years. So I always just joke around, and I just tell people that like I got the hardest crash course in business early on, because I learned all about lease agreements. I learned how to look at certain properties, commercial and real estate. Thinking people were gonna come in. Like when I opened the gym, didn't matter how many people told me that they were signed up or pre-sales. Ain't none of them showed up. Maybe one.
Yep. I always say that same thing. Anyone that ever has talked about opening up a gym and they say, this number of people have said they're going to join, I always say it's going to be a fraction. Like those people world, are straight up not telling you the truth. Like that is not true. What those 60 people that tell you you're going to come,
because no one wants to just openly reject you to your face,
right?
Especially
exactly.
when it's like your friends, like
or
kind of acquaintances,
right?
Like no one wants to be confrontational.
Like, man, sure, I'd be there.
Yeah, no, definitely. So, I learned the hard way. Looking back, I'm just like super grateful that I didn't give up on that, because none of this would ever be where it is today. But it was really tough. And I'll be honest too, like one of the other biggest things that has, helped me with my business was having an online market. Like the gym for me, like you guys said, yours is more like a club. Well, mine's the same way in the aspect, like I don't do really any marketing for my gym. It's grown organically from the people within it. And the online has grown exponentially, where the gym has just grown little by little by like, someone bringing their friend and whatever, which has been great. It's been super cool, but I would have never been able to survive my gym with the type of business model I have and what we do there if it wasn't for the online. So I always stress to people, like, especially now with what happened with COVID, is having an online stream of revenue, having your eggs in multiple baskets and thinking outside the box that way. Because, unfortunately I saw so many people have to lose or close their gyms because that's all that they had. And, and they were getting forced to shut down. It was tough for them because that was their only, form of revenue. So for me, I've just been blessed, like, making those YouTube videos, calling Rich Froning out, like it was all that stuff ended up helping me out in the long run.
No, that's cool. I like that. I like the gym story.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Big Joey, we've got this little game we play with every guest, overrated or underrated, and we've got a special set of topics that we handpicked for you. So we'll fire them over at you, and all you've got to do is decide if each one is overrated or underrated. But you, main thing to remember is you can't ride the line. You have to come up with an answer, and you can elaborate on that as much or as little as you want to. So if you're ready to rock, we'll get them going.
I'm a little nervous, but let's do it.
You should be.
Yeah. This is the scary part of the show. Everyone gets a little nervous for this part. Okay.
All right.
Overrated or underrated? Rich Froning.
Overrated.
Still sticking with the same mentality from YouTube day.
Yeah, screw that guy. I'll still beat him. I'll beat him right now.
Maybe you just got out. Like he's gonna get. He's how old is he?
Too old. He's got to retire. No, actually, I think he's like. I'm not gonna lie. He's pretty young. He looked. I want to say older than he was. I think.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Yeah. So overrated though on Rich.
Yeah, he's a. I want to see some other people win. Right, your time's done.
Yeah, get out of there. Okay, that's fair. Overrated or underrated? Preacher curls.
Definitely overrated.
Those
things suck.
That was the exact exercise of when it happened, correct?
Yeah, it was a preacher curl. Yep. And the thing was, I'll just talk about it too.
Yeah.
Because you said elaborate.
Yep.
So, injury, I mean, I don't know where you guys are at with like the evidence-based stuff or whatever, but to me, I've been training for about 15, 16 years, and I really have never had an injury. training related. I've had some tweaks and aches and pains. So all the internet trolls who are hating on me for tearing my bicep on a preacher curl, I've been training for so long. For me to have finally something happen, I was like, all right, like.
So what are people saying? Were people saying you shouldn't have been preacher curling?
Yeah, they were saying I'm an idiot. Like how would you do something like that? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what do you guys like? Most of the people who say this stuff are doing preacher curls, like, you know, behind the screen or something, you know, like everyone's done preacher curls. Like, give me a break.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but really what I think kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back was I was doing a pretty gnarly cut when that happened. So, you know, food wise, I'm in a deficit. I just had traveled for 11 and a half hours in my vehicle. You know, there was a lot of just the variables that were not in my favor for me to have something like that happen. And it could have been anything, you know, it could have been something on a squat or it could have been whatever, you know, and it just happened to be bicep curls. And the weird thing was there was no like warning signs either, where in my mind, I remember, because I think we were curling like 155, I had like 4 more in my brain that I was going to do. And it just went, you know, like it was just such a, like, whoa, like that. It wasn't like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing this kind of moment.
Right,
it was just
right.
yeah, I'm just curling with the boys, you know, I'll throw a little bit of weight on there. Yeah, normally I do a little bit more reps, but whatever. And then, swing, there it went.
You know what the eerie part about that video is, and I'm sure you're well aware of it though, is
Oh,
how much time you guys spent talking about about bicep tears, and then you're like, oh yeah, I did it, and it's kind of like, oh, are you serious? You know, like
I wish I could say that we planned it out the whole time, and it was like, but yeah, no.
There was
So
a
the
lot
best-
of talk about bicep tears before that, like immediately before that happened.
Yeah, no, it was quite eerie, and like the best part is I wasn't even thinking that it was going to happen. Like, yeah, I truly wasn't. Like, even though we were saying that stuff, you know, in my mind, I was like, no way.
Yeah. As soon as that happened, after you guys were talking about it, and then you did it, I would have been like, whoa, wouldn't that be crazy if like we just $1 million fell from the sky on us right now?
just keep pushing it and see what
Oh,
happens.
dude, I said the same thing. I was like, I'm just gonna start wishing, like it was like The Secret, right? That book or the movie The Secret, like just manifest. Like, yeah. So listen, there are a lot of silver linings involved with, like, that's like one of my most viewed videos. I've made a lot of money off of tearing my bicep. So it's like, you know, things, it could be way worse. And honestly, right now I'm back to almost where I was. So it's like not that big of a deal.
Great irony then in you getting the curl shirt and being able to wear that a lot then too after that.
Yo, that was awesome. I love, honestly, that's one of my favorite shirts. Like no BS. Like I would not say that if it wasn't true, but first of all, I love the material. I love the design. And I never thought I was like a yellow guy, but I find myself wearing it.
Yellow's
like,
No one thinks they're a yellow guy until they get
sell
a yellow
couple yellow shirts, and we sell quite a bit of both of them, surprisingly.
yeah. So you guys are awesome, but like, I love wearing it because, like you said, the irony of that shirt is like, it means a lot to me, you know, like people don't know half the story unless they watch the YouTube channel. Then they're like, this guy's he's just asking for it, you know? And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. I'm just going to make fun of myself. I'm wearing a curl shirt everywhere.
Yep. I like that. That's great. Okay. Overrated or underrated? Gears of War.
Oh my gosh. Underrated for sure. People like hate on Gears of War. And I think it's just because they're not good at it. That's why. But Gears of War, man, it sounds weird, but that game is so nostalgic to me. And I played that game through so many like weird periods of my life, and I like loved the story. I thought it was so badass because like they just thought to make something very different for its time with like the gore and the executions, and they were really going against the grain because I know it was banned in a lot of places as well because of how violent it was. But yeah, I think it's underrated. I think a lot of people, like I said, who didn't like it, just they weren't good at it and they got their ass kicked. And if they were good at it, they would love that game.
Do you still do a lot of gaming today?
No, unfortunately, I put my Xbox in my parents' house because if I played it, I probably would crash my business into the ground.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, when I would play it like under control, like on the weekends, the kids these days are so good. It's like you literally just get your ass kicked, and then you just have fits of rage, and it's just not healthy for your mental state. You can't keep putting yourself through these ups and downs of just getting your ass kicked continually by like some teenager playing Fortnite. Like I can't keep up with these kids.
Okay, you were very good, correct? Like,
yeah, I was ranked 50th in the world for a period of time in Gears of War. I played competitively, and it was just in Warzone, so I always have to clarify that. But it was a game type in Gears of War. But I played a lot of games for a long time. I got video game tattoos. My whole room was decorated with video game memorabilia. I was trying to go to college to be a video game designer. And I would eat, sleep, and breathe that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's cool.
What are you laughing at?
No, I'm saying
like
I think people like that would randomly run across your YouTube would
Wouldn't
not expect like that from you. You know, I think that's the surprising factor.
It was kind of funny. Well, I mean, like in my defense too, like I was always friends with everybody. I always played sports, but it was like I'd game half the day and I played sports half the day. Like I somehow made it work, and I hit the gym. But there was this, it was funny. I was at the shooting range the other day, and there was this kid who worked there, and he had some video game tattoo or some like, I don't know, something I could tell it was like nerdy. And I asked him about it, but he was like afraid to like tell me what it was
because he didn't think you're in on the club.
Did you
flash him your tats before he felt safe?
Well, he wouldn't tell me. So then I finally was like, oh yeah, like I got a Gears of War tattoo, and I could just see his whole soul like change.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, dude, like I'm just asking about your tattoo, man. Like I think it's cool.
I'm not trying to rag on you or something
yeah. So it is funny you say that because like I could tell right away he's like, this asshole thinks, you know, like he's trying to make fun of me or something, and I'm like, no, dude, like I think it's cool.
Yeah. Okay. So up until now, these topics have been pretty much fun and games, but this next topic is the last topic, and we always save the most important for last. So it's kind of everything, basically. Your performance of the entire podcast comes down to this one overrated and underrated topic.
Oh, lovely.
So overrated or underrated, the Lion King reboot.
Overrated for sure. I did not like it. I did not like it at all.
Did you go to it in the theaters?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why would you not? Yeah,
I did too.
I did too.
Yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't realize
that. Ask what you guys think or no?
Well, I guess I didn't know. I didn't read a thing about it going into it. I didn't understand that it was basically like a shot for shot remake.
Right.
I thought it was like a new take on the Lion King or something. So to me, that kind of took some of the excitement off of it.
Having been, I don't know, the original Lion King maybe came out in like 94, I'm guessing, something like that. Having been, 7 at that point in time, I was right. That's right. I'm like the target market at the time. Yeah. And like, I remember that, and I remember what it was like when I was 7, and I probably liked that original one too well for me to like ever really give the new one credit. It's like I went to Space Jam, the new one I took my son to the new Space Jam, and I'm like, this sucks. But I'm like, I'm comparing it to when I was, 10 going to the original Space Jam, so it's probably, I'm in a tough spot to give the newer ones much credit sometimes, probably.
Did your son like the new one?
He did. He did. He's into basketball, and he likes, he thinks LeBron is cool and stuff like that. But I'm like, I watched it. I'm like, Space Jam is a more drastic comparison where I'm like, the new Space Jam sucks. Like the Lion King movie, I could watch that and be like, it is the same story, so it's like, it's just watching a different version of the same story. But the original Space Jam is much better, in my opinion, than the remake.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was so bad for Space Jam, I wasn't even going to give it a shot. I'm going to be completely honest.
No, it's not good. But so the Lion King, you being the Lion's Den, What's the title of your podcast? It's also
Becoming the Lion.
Becoming the Lion. Yeah, yeah. So we value your opinion on the Lion King.
On all things lion related.
Yes.
Yes, The Lion King was my favorite movie as a kid, and it wasn't like, I mean, now everybody uses like lions and pictures of lions to like, but this was like, you can ask everybody in my family. Like, I was obsessed with that movie. But yeah, like you had said, I won't say that the new reboot was like terrible or anything. It's just I think I have to agree completely with you. Is I'm so attached to the nostalgia and watching that as a kid, and like just the stories. Like I always think about like, dude, like your brother betrayed you and killed you.
There's so much.
The movie The Lion King is a heavy movie. Like, within
absolutely.
30 minutes, it's like, you're a prince. You'll be a king one day. My uncle's going to kill my dad. And then
to be fair, it's even maybe a little bit more of an emotional roller coaster than I like when I'm watching. It's like, when I'm becoming attached to these characters and they're all dying.
When I rewatched the original, probably for the first time since I was like 8. I watched it. It was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and it had been like 15 years since I'd seen it, and I was like, "Damn, they really come at you hard with this thing."
This young son is here while his father, is trampled to death
by his uncle.
Yeah, right. It's like, wow.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it's heavy. Like they're not hiding anything from you with that one. But I think there's so much symbolism in it, and I've always been just a big fan of it, and it's cool. So anything lion related, you guys hit me up.
Yes, we'll keep you in our black book as lion guy.
guy.
Yeah, lion guy. Perfect. Well, great news. You passed overrated, underrated, and that means you passed the whole show. You won.
Oh, what did I win?
The show.
You won the show. You did. No, and actually, we award cool beans to anyone that does a good job at the end of the show. It's after you get off. We have a track we play where you're awarded two cool beans, and you will be receiving them. Just a spoiler alert.
Oh wow! I'm so excited, guys. You really are amazing.
Yeah, we appreciate that. We know it means a lot. No, we had a lot of fun. This was a great episode. We're glad we got to get you on and get more familiar with you, honestly. And the invitation to Western, Northeast, South Dakota is always open. Always open.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's been really cool. I love your stuff, and I joke around that my gym wasn't legit until I had a Massenomics, a poster or a banner or something floating around there. So
good news. There's a package on the way right now with you'll never have a nicer cup holder than what's in the mail on the way to you as we speak.
It's not nicer than my reverse hyper.
There's debate there. I mean, we're certainly in the camp of the drink spotter, but there is a comparison to be made. Like, we can't deny that.
I know. I'm just messing with you. I just made a video with it just came out about the least used gym equipment.
I watched it. I agree. The reverse hyper is probably one of the least used pieces of equipment at our gym too.
Yeah, depending on where it's placed, it can be a coat holder.
What was that? You said the GHR or GHD, whichever you want to call that. And then what was the other thing in there? There's one other thing you had a particular rack that didn't get used. So okay, but
that was more just an inside joke with everybody. But I'm actually doing a follow-up video on the reverse hyper because people gave me so much crap about it that I'm gonna really actually give them the facts, like the pros and the cons of this machine. So that'll be a good one. But yeah,
something interesting about the I'm going to say GHR that we've had this ongoing kind of debate, and something we talked to a lot of people about is in the video. I think you did. I've actually got the clip saved because I'm going to repost it here, but I've done it with Alan Thrall and a few other people where they call out what it is. Some people call the piece of equipment a GHR, and some people call the piece of equipment a GHD, and the exercise that you perform on it is a GHR. But I think you called it both. If I actually look at the video, I think there's spots where you at one point in time call the machine a GHD and at one point in time call it a GHR. So what is the machine called?
It's called whatever I say it's called when I say it.
Always changing.
Whatever Rogue sells it as.
Rogue sells it as the GHD. Elite FTS, though, you mentioned Dave Tate. We're also a fan of Dave. He sells it as the GH. They sell theirs as the GHR.
Oh, so it's semantics at this point. So I'm okay either way.
Okay. Well,
we prefer a hard line. We want something for people to get excited
guys,
about.
The game was over. I got my cool beans.
Yeah.
You're right.
You got us on a technicality, I suppose.
Got us on our own rules. We'll just have to schedule another call, I guess.
Yeah. I'd love to do another call. We can talk more about like training or something. I feel bad because my gym story took a lot of time, but I feel like it's one that deserves at least some good background information so you guys can get the gist of it.
To be honest, we rarely ever even get into that much training because we always like to talk about stuff like
other stuff
like that. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I agree. That's what it's always funny when I do collabs. Like most of our conversations are outside of what people think they're going to be, but I think that's what's cool is getting out of what you're used to talking about every single day.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, no, I really appreciate you having me on the podcast and listening to some of the stuff I had to say. And I would love to do a collab and, hopefully get you guys on my podcast as well, which would be cool. And we can dive into your story, how you got your brand going, because it's growing, successful, and it's really cool to share that kind of stuff. So I'm excited, and it's really cool to build a relationship with you guys.
Absolutely. Awesome. We're game anytime. Where does everyone find you? If they're looking for you on YouTube, looking for your podcast, looking for Instagram, are those the hot spots?
Well, my OnlyFans account. No, I'm kidding.
Here we go. Yeah.
Just kidding. I should create an OnlyFans account, but just put pictures of my dog on there. That would actually be no. But you can find me.
Someone's probably
YouTuber.
into that. To be fair.
Yeah, probably. That would make me feel kind of weird. God. But yeah, YouTube is just Zat Strength. SZAT, the word strength. If you want to look at content, articles, programs, zatstrength.net is where you can find me. My Instagram is zatstrength as well. And then the gym is the Lion's Den, which is just in Colmar, PA. If anybody is ever in the area or in Philly and wants to make the trip to the Lion's Den, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, that's all I got, guys.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, we appreciate it. It was good to talk to you, Big Joey.
All right. You too, guys. I really appreciate your time as well. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Joey. Well,
Tommy, we already hinted at it.
We promised him. Should we deliver?
I suppose we better give it to him.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
He got the cool beans.
The double cool beans. Would have been quite the disappointment at this point to have not given him the cool beans.
After all that buildup, I think he would be pretty upset. So.
I always do like it when people ask what they win.
Yes.
Because then we do have the answer of the cool beans in the back pocket.
Cool beans.
Yeah.
Huh? Wow. Okay. I was playing for cool beans this whole time. You didn't give me a heads up.
It's probably best. They would have got too nervous had they known there's cool beans on the line.
Would have gone through their answers the correct way.
That's exactly right.
Tanner, I'm going to read us a little ad here.
Oh, that's a good idea. I don't have a pre-read one to plug in this time. You actually are going to have to read it.
Okay. Well, actually, the ad I clicked on right there, I couldn't do because there wasn't enough text to read. So let's try this one.
I don't like that.
This episode is brought to you by SPUD Inc. and the Ring of Fire Bands.
Hello.
The Ring of Fire Band is a utility tool for prepping and warming up the lower body or upper body for training.
Okay.
It can be used for some supportive work with hips and legs, along also as a cue to develop better motor skills and reactions in various training exercises. As there is nothing new under the sun, this tool is handy for many other uses that you can imagine. And with a 3-pack, you can get a small, large, and an extra large. Get your Ring of Fire Band today at spud-ink-straps.com.
I'm sold.
I'll take 3.
Okay. That was cool. Sometimes feels like before we have a guest on, we know absolutely everything about them already. Mm-hmm. That's one dynamic. Sometimes we don't know as much, and that's maybe the case with Joey. So we actually get to learn more about some of that stuff that we're not aware of. And
it's more of a first date, right?
Yeah, it's a first date as a tryout. I don't know. I think it went pretty well.
Yeah, I think so.
The true test will be if he actually comes.
He said he's going to come to Western Northeast South Dakota sometime. So
yeah, that'll be the true test.
out he gave himself, he said sometimes. So,
pretty open-ended, isn't it?
It's very open-ended.
Tommy, you're wearing the greetings from the High Plains, also known as our Grassonomics tee.
Okay,
I see you got a pink stain.
I don't.
all over the side even too.
Yes, all over the side. I don't know.
That's the old dangers of the white shirt.
It's the dangers of the white shirt.
Yeah.
I showed this. I was trying to, have some talks with the family, figure out why does my shirt have pink stuff on it.
Nobody's fessing up to it, are they?
No one. Well, I washed it.
Yeah.
I washed it. It should be in with my stuff. Yeah. I don't have anything that has
There's
pink
some
stuff
on
on
the
it.
arm, yeah.
So now I see this. I'm like, well, this was kind of already only a gym shirt, but now it really is only a gym and home shirt because I got pink stuff all over it, and I have no idea what that is from. I have no clue what that is.
That's the dangers of the white shirt. I
really do not know what that is, though.
Looks like a pink highlighter almost, even.
It does, but that would mean I had to have put a pink highlighter in the laundry with my clothes.
Yeah, other stuff would probably have pink on it, you would think at that point.
You would certainly. I mean, most of my clothes are black, so maybe they would mask it. But also, you think you'd find a pink highlighter doing laundry, and I haven't found one of those yet either.
True.
So
true.
The mystery goes deeper here.
We do have a few of those for sale, though, if you're interested in a Grassonomics t-shirt.
Not many left, though.
Not a whole lot, but what I would say, the shirt that I'm wearing, the Dark Side tee, restocked today. Just put that back into inventory just mere hours ago, and this has been out in some sizes for quite a while. So if you're in the market for a Dark Side tee, now's your chance.
And that one does pop.
This one pops. I find myself, as far as my Massenomics tees that I have in rotation that I wear, this one may be the thing that I wear the most still frequently. Maybe possibly. There's a few in there, but I wear this one. I wear this one, the red varsity tee. I wear that one quite a bit.
It's another classic.
Yeah. Those are both those both stick to the top. Sometimes it's just a matter of whatever has managed to get itself
shuffled
towards the top,
and
then it just stays at the top. It just
shuffles its way up,
gets
and
clean,
then
gets put back at the top. And then sometimes I'll look towards the bottom and be like, "Oh, I forgot I had that shirt.
Yep, I know.
I'm gonna wear that.
Like, oh, this one still fits a little tighter.
Yeah.
It's not like getting all worn out from being worn every week for way too long.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
So the Dark Side tee, of course, by the Drink Spotter. Any other big restocks lately?
It's probably it for restock.
That's what I'm thinking.
We're more preparing for new stock at the moment.
That's right. Probably can't spill too many cool beans on all of that.
We're not going to spill any cool beans on it right now, but we're going to say it is going to be pretty awesome.
It might be the best we've ever done, but it's probably the best thing we've ever ultimately done. So
yeah, it is. I guess we'll spill that bean.
Yeah,
we'll drop one bean.
So you got something to look forward to there. Anything else in particular in the world of Massenomics that we needed to? I saw the USAPL was kicked out of the IPF.
Oh, yeah. We could probably talk about that next week. I guess. Right? We're already going pretty long here, but
seems like I care less and less about that the more time goes on.
But the thing is most people shouldn't care about it because unless you're a national. Not even unless you're like a world's competitor, it doesn't matter.
Right. But there's going to be like USAPL still a thing. It's like its own thing, not affiliated with IPF.
Yep. It's just another federation.
But then there's going to be another federation.
Yeah. What was it? Powerlifting America.
Yeah. And to me, the only bit that I care about the whole thing, I'm like, really? That was like the one thing you had going for you is that as far as tested powerlifting, there at least that was unified, like to not be diced up in.
Yeah, I get
where
what
I'm
you're
like,
saying,
now there's two. Like
and technically
you
also like USPA drug tested.
True is growing a little bit,
so
especially with this happening. That'll probably elevate a little bit more. I'm like, great. Now that's even all.
But the thing with that is okay, Powerlifting America. If this is the thing, so unless meet directors are going to start doing it. Why would anyone do that though, right? Unless all these meet directors are going to say we're not.
Well, the
doing
only
USAPL
people that
anymore.
would is if you're world level contender.
Well, that's the only people that it matters to. But
Right.
I'm saying like local meet directors could say, well, I'm not going to do USAPL anymore. I'm now doing a Powerlifting America meets.
Right.
Like, that could happen.
Right.
But if that doesn't happen, then that's just like the world's smallest federation.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Because again, this is all, isn't the whole debate around this is people want to weigh to worlds. So
that would be the purpose for the Powerlifting America,
So, yeah,
which that only is applicable to the people that could go to Worlds, right?
And like the pool of people that have a realistic chance of doing that, like in just standard raw lifting like we do is what, 20 people in a given year?
Right.
So, yeah, like this whole thing is like set up
not matter for the most people.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to anyone.
Certainly doesn't matter to I guess that's why it matters so little to me. Other than just from a purely maybe a fan of the sport perspective, just like, oh great, now these people are going to lift in this federation. These people
you're just
are
watching this train wreck happen. Of people shooting themselves. In the foot
right. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't really care about it much either.
Nope.
And that's why this will probably actually be the extent of us talking about it. But
we covered it. Check that one off the list.
It is interesting. It will be interesting to see how this plays out because, again, it just shouldn't matter to hardly anyone. And I guess even the people that it mattered to, okay, they all went and lifted for the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, okay, I guess it doesn't change anything now. They get to lift for their home country now. Like,
right.
I don't know. It just feels so, I don't know.
I do know the thing we needed was more powerlifting federations. So thankfully we have another powerlifting federation.
Yeah, I was starting to think we were going to get through 2021 without another federation being added. And luckily someone answered that call. Crisis averted.
You know what else somebody answered the call on? Training and nutrition, programming and coaching.
Tell me more.
Hybrid Performance Method is your solution to strength. No BS training, nutrition, and education for the hybrid athlete. You get access to proven training programs that have delivered life-changing gains and podium finishes for thousands of people. Take your training and nutrition to the next level. Get a personalized nutrition plan plus a dedicated coach in your corner, helping you navigate your nutrition journey. Head into every workout and every day knowing that you will be challenged and end the day better than when you started. Visit hybridperformancemethod.com or follow Hybrid Performance Method anywhere you follow people on social media. And Tommy, we do have a discount code there at Hybrid Performance Method. Would you like to take a stab at what it is?
Okay, is it 4 letters?
It's 4 letters.
All right, is the first one an M?
Are we playing Hangman or Wheel of Fortune? Either way, you're doing well.
Okay. I'm going to solve mass.
Yes, it is mass, and that'll save you a 5%. And the beauty of it doesn't just save you 5% on that initial order. If you're on a recurring membership program for, say, their nutrition or their coaching, saves you that 5% for the entire lifetime of the membership. So as long as you don't die and you keep having that membership,
you're the one coming out ahead of this.
Yeah, exactly. You almost can't afford not to do it when you look at it that way.
It's like it's like your little way of sticking it to the man.
Yep. You're really getting them good. I think that kind of wraps us up for this one, doesn't it?
That is everything.
Yeah, like us on YouTube. Become a supporting member, please. We'd love to have more supporting members. You get to be a friend of the podcast, the honorary title. There's a discount out there in the Discord. You get to be involved in the Discord community with all those crazy cats and kittens in the Discord club. You get to be in on that. So please do join up for that. Tommy, where do they find you?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.